today we will be reviewing the Lego Nintendo Game Boy. Now, have you guys seen any of my shorts? I've been super excited to review this set. I've been talking about it for quite some time, but let's jump right into this review. This is set number 72046. It has exactly 421 pieces, so not a very large set, and it retails at $60 USD. Now, jumping into the price score, I personally believe that this is an appropriate price. I do wish it was a little bit cheaper. I would say $40 to $45 would be very appropriate for this size of a set, and some people might complain about that. They say that might even be too expensive, especially for the size. It's not a very large set. I don't want to sugarcoat that at all. However, I do believe it's a very good set. I do think it's a fun set. So I do think $60 USD is appropriate, and it has a lot of detail, but we'll jump right into that with the build score. But I want to first say the pricing score, I'm going to give it about a 6.5 to a 7. So decent, but I wish it was a little bit cheaper. I will say that. But let's talk about the details, why I believe the $60 ends up being appropriate for this set. Now, when it came to building this set, there was a lot of intricacies. Okay, so there's a lot of detail into it, and you guys can really see in the instructions that I'll probably throw on the screen. They actually let you build out like the hardware of the Game Boy itself, which I think is really cool, right? But when you're building it, you don't know that. And also, if you guys have ever used a Game Boy, and mind you, I grew up with a Game Boy. My sister had one of these, and they're not like symmetrical. Like, as you guys see, there's like a curve here, and like the screen is like kind of rounded a little bit. It's not like perfectly rectangle. So when you're building the set, there's a couple of times where some pieces are not like super clicking together, like they're not supposed to click together in the inside, and that was getting irritating to me because I was trying to figure out like, am I doing this wrong? Did the designers do this on purpose? What's going on here? And eventually I ended up figuring out what was going on, but still kind of frustrating to build in that regard. But I will say there are cool parts about building this set, such as like the rubber band behind the buttons that really make it kind of springy to really give you that feel of like you're pressing something. In the up, down, left, right button, it's like not on a piece at all, so you have like a little bit of bounce to it, so it feels like you're pushing the button as well. I think that's a wonderful touch by the designers in terms of the build score. So, and I also really enjoy, and I don't want to get too deep in this because I'm going to talk about a design score later, but I like how there's like different pieces for different aspects of this design. Like the control pieces is really cool to handle, like super fun. I love that. And I also love that these little tire, I guess they're tire rubber pieces, I don't really know how to explain them, are the start and select button. We'll get to that in a second with the design score. But for a build score, I do want to say this set is not necessarily for children. Like I feel like even though it can be very basic and can be for kids, to some degree it's not. This was probably the easiest part about building this entire set, like talking about the video game parts. But other than that, there are some difficulties here. Like it's a little challenging, not in the sense of that you can't do it. Like to me, this set sure took me like 45 minutes, but it ended up running over because it was just a little bit intricate in terms of how they detailed this set. So I'm not going to say that it's like a perfect 10 out of 10 build score. I'm going to give it a lower score than that. I'm going to say a 6 because there's some areas where I felt like it was a little complicated within the designing and the instructions, and that kind of got on my nerves a little bit and turned in my opinion, a set that should have took me 30 minutes into a set that took me about an hour 30. Jump into the design score a little bit, because designing this is a beautiful set, and this kind of goes in line with the presentation as well. But the design of this set is so nostalgic and amazing. I love that they added these little pieces on the side that roll a little bit to be the volume, and as well as the contrast of the screen itself. I love that the on and off switch actually has a little click to it. That is such an amazing touch. And the touch is that the hole for the headphones is also a part of the stand. I think that's just such a neat touch that they did here, right? Of course, when you have the inside of the Nintendo area that flash back and forth like it's really turning on, that's such a great little bit of a touch. And also, I wanted to say this too, there's very minimal stickers. The only stickers you have really are for the games themselves, and other than that, there's not really stickers like that. That's a great touch. And like I said before, the buttons, the feeling of the buttons, the feeling of the start and select button, which feels literally kind of like how they used to feel back in the day. Having one myself, it's like such a really great touch. And then of course that the games can just pop out and pop in. You can throw in the Zelda little screen area, as well as the Nintendo screen or the Super Mario Brothers screen. It is such an amazing piece of art, like, and I really enjoyed the design of this set. Like, they did a great job, but I will say they did not put the designer in the instructions. Why? Like, oh, you've done it with every other set so far, why would you not put the designer in this one? I kind of got a little frustrated with Lego about that. I wish they did that. But so far, I will say, like, my favorite thing has to be this power button, that you can hear the little click on it, because that's what it sounds like when you would turn on a Game Boy like this. I still have a Game Boy SP on me, and I still play it every so often. So such an amazing different kind of set. And of course, on the back, the vent area, really cool to see as well. This part right here, I wish they didn't make it a sticker. I wish they like put some type of brick here. That would have been different, but it's okay. You can't get everything perfect, but there is so much to the design of this set that I really enjoy. So design score, 10 out of 10. This is beautiful, nostalgic, and looks just like how a Nintendo Game Boy actually looked like. So I think this is a really amazing design. And last but not least, we got to talk about presentation. Now, the presentation on this set, absolutely superb. And why do I say that? Now, number one, the instructions, I wish they did a better job on like giving us more like details about the designer and such. However, I love how they're really going into the theme of how Nintendo Game Boys were created and sold. And even right here, you can see how like that feeling of old school Nintendo like commercials were, with all these like very pow explosions and data looking areas. Such a cool touch that I really enjoy. And as a person who's had these before in my life, it's really cool and nostalgic to look at, especially the Game Boy case. My God, like like of the games, it's such a throwback. It's so nostalgic, super cool. I didn't talk about the little battery area. I wish the battery brick right there was a little different. I wish they could have done something different with that one, but it's fine. But of course, you can see here in the instructions, they also show you like the hardware of the inside of the Game Boy. And that's the part where I was like kind of confused on building. Now that I see how it's built, super dope. It's really sick how they did this. They really went into a lot of detail about this. It's not over the top detailed, but it's just enough detailed that like you could, if you wanted to, they could have gone like in a Technic sec and added some like different pieces in here to really sell that it's hardware. But I'm fine with this. This is actually really cool, and I think it comes out really nice. And I just realized that I've also built the hardware of the video games. I didn't even recognize that. That's why I was using these green pieces. The reason why I didn't recognize is because I was rushing to get this video out. I was trying to build this set as fast as possible. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all my new videos. Just do that because your boy really worked on this. And I also love that it includes Super Mario Land here as well, one of the original Game Boy games. It's just really cool that they're showing love to the Mario franchise, as well as Nintendo as a franchise as well. And of course, we have The Legend of Zelda. Fun fact, Breath of the Wild is one of my top 5 games of all time, but they have Link's Awakening here as well, a game that is very coveted. I actually never got a chance to play it, and I actually want to look for it and find it to see if I can play it at one point, but that's going to be very hard to do. But literally, this is just a very iconic and nostalgic looking set. And just take a look at the box. The box is also worth keeping. I think this is a very cool, nostalgic looking box. It kind of just screams retro 90s. Like it really screams that. And so it's a very cool box, but yet again, still sad the designer was not included in terms of the instructions or the conversations. I like us, there's no light, sound, and digital play functions. Like that's kind of funny because it's like, hey, this is not a real Game Boy, just to let you know. So to end this video off, let's talk about the final score for the Lego Nintendo Game Boy. Now, like I said, pricing wise, I do wish it was a little bit cheaper. I think $40 would have been fantastic. I understand there's a rise of inflation right now, so I get why it's 60, but 40 would have been nice to have. Then I would say the design of it is beautiful. As a complete 10 out of 10. The design is, in my opinion, flawless and just amazing to even look at, and definitely have it as a display. Definitely put this up somewhere nice. And I love how the buttons really work and feel, and they really do have I will say a quirk to them. However, the building was a little bit of a pain. You know, of course, the building was a little bit of a pain, and the presentation is fantastic, but I do wish they added the designer. Overall, I am going to give this a solid 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Fantastic, but still it doesn't get that 10 out of 10 mark because it doesn't necessarily fulfill all those issues, particularly with the price, and they could have done a little bit more on their design score and been a little bit more thorough with their instructions. And of course, this is my unbiased opinion, and I do not get paid for this, so I really do enjoy this set and love this set. However, I would like to get paid for this. And if you guys want to help me get there, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell notification for all my new videos, but also like and comment and just tell me how you feel about this set, if you picked it up, if you enjoyed it, and if you're going to pick this up in the future. My name is Isaiah Barlow, and this is my Lego Room, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.